These walls, they feel the vibrations. The chants of "Let's go Griffins" ring through the building. The players
You're listening.
Yeah, like all the time I'm listening.
WATB with Christian, Eric, and Carl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're having fun. We're making it happen.
It's fun time.
Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise.
And here it is.
Yes! Welcome to Who Are These Broadcasters? Your one-stop shop for broadcasting excellence. As always, I am Christian Bladt, and with me, as always, of course, is the EZ himself, Eric Zane. Eric, how are you today?
never better. And sorry that I wasn't there right for the 2 shot, but I was putting out fires around this house and fixing my hair.
We know which one of those is more important to you. The fires around the house will put themselves out, but that hair, it ain't going to prepare itself now.
Exactly. It's a good point.
Well, we've got so much show to get to today. I want to let you tell people how the super chats work here on this show. What's the difference between super chatting this show versus one of the other shows on the Who Are These network?
Well, you get the spotlight. If you say something horrible that you want Christian to sign off with, maybe about his hatred of various minorities or whatever thing you creatively want to put out there, and you attach a dollar amount to it, the highest dollar amount is what Christian will sign off with. Now, you do have to be very creative when it comes to how you say these hateful things, because YouTube will censor that. So,
yes,
I mean, put on your thinking cap and go for it and say something really bad, and then attach, I would say, a minimum of $50 to it. And Christian will then repeat it loudly and proudly at the end of this show. You can also be featured in super chats if you make us laugh. Some of
Correct.
you, JFK Head Chunk,
Oh,
Dwyer Christian. There's a couple more. Kelly, is it Kelly Riddle? Kelly. These are all very creative people that say funny shit. Some of you do not. Okay. And for those of you that do not, that's okay. We just won't put it up there, you know? So there you go. That's my spiel.
That's a great spiel, and that is indeed the way it works. And we'll shout out Brigmo for becoming a YouTube member. I am actually a YouTube member on this page. My apologies to whomever it was who was giving out free memberships. I had accept memberships turned on, so I have a free month of the Who Are These podcast YouTube channel. But it's a fantastic place to be. It's just doubles up if you also have the Patreon. Anyway, all of that being said, we're ready to get the show started, and we are going to start somewhere I don't believe have ever started before. We're going to do the show in reverse. We're going to begin with a great moment in broadcasting history.
Flashback.
WATB.
Way back into time.
Let's find out who are these broadcast histories.
So here in Los Angeles, a broadcasting institution from KTLA, where we have played many clips from over the years, their entertainment reporter, Sam Rubin, passed away. And there were a lot of really heartfelt reminders, reminiscences, celebrations of his life and his career. And to the horror of our friend Hackride, I have chosen a very specific way to remember him. I think if people don't know Sam Rubin, as this clip starts, you might be like, oh, okay, yeah, I do remember this guy. This is how I choose to remember Sam Rubin.
Anyway, you working for Marvel, the Super Bowl commercial, did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've admit my mistake.
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
Flog, you're exactly
We all
right.
black and famous.
You
but
are
we all don't look
guilty.
alike.
I am guilty.
Next question.
I am guilty.
He thought you were Bob Dylan.
Right. That's right.
You're the entertainment reporter.
I know. I'm dumb
You're the
about it.
entertainment reporter
Right.
for this station.
Flog.
And you don't know the difference between
I
me and
know.
Lawrence Fishburne.
My mistake. My mistake. I apologize. Really, my big mistake. Let's talk.
So there's more to it, and I feel compelled to play a little bit more, but I assume you probably saw this back when it happened, Eric. It's a while ago.
I do remember it, and I just want to say that I wish this guy would have said, well, you do look like him. I mean, those two really do look alike. And I'm not saying that they all look alike. I'm saying those fuckers look alike.
Yeah. Abby Normal says best interview ever. Dwyer Christian, I'm not quite sure what his comment says. I can't actually see it.
Yeah, I got a problem with my monitor. I can't read it.
Yeah. And by the way, review girl extraordinaire Annie is commenting on what I showed before I played the open. It was a flashback to Eric Zane's hype video. So when you're touching the wall, so she's referring to these walls.
I had forgotten already. I'm like, what the fuck does she mean? Oh, it's
Well,
my line.
what I really truly love about this clip is that Sam Jackson doesn't let him off the hook, even when Sam Rubin feels like he's paid enough of a penance. And it wouldn't take much for me to feel the reverse and be like annoyed at Sam Jackson, but I love how he leans into it here.
That must be a very short line for your job.
I'll say.
There.
No, it probably would not be hard to get another person to sit right here. Let's talk about RoboCop.
Oh, hell no.
When he's trying to get back to, you know, this is one of those satellite interviews. You can see that he's got the logo for RoboCop. And Sam Rubin's like, let's talk about RoboCop. Oh, hell no.
Yeah,
we are not going to talk about RoboCop.
He's doing the right thing. Sam Jackson is. This guy, this reporter, he's kind of shit. I'll say this. It's a good thing he's dead because he fucking sucks.
Well, you know, I think that people are choosing to remember him a different way, but this is the Sam Rubin in my heart.
Really? Really?
I apologize.
I'm the other guy. I'm the other guy. The other one. What's in your wallet?
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm that
Exactly
guy.
right.
There's more than one black guy doing a commercial.
There it is. No question about that.
I'm the what's in your wallet black guy.
Okay.
He's the car black guy.
There it is.
Morgan Freeman is the other credit card black guy. You only hear his voice though, so you probably won't confuse him with Lawrence Fishburne.
You're 100% right. To RoboCop,
there's a heavyweight black guy that's like putting cash down in the seats in a baseball stadium, but he's also the black guy that turns off the house, the water, and the lights when his kid tells him the house is cool. I'm not that guy either.
Do we want to do a list of all the people that you're not?
And I've actually never done a McDonald's or a Kentucky Fried Chicken commercial. I know that's surprising.
Right.
It's going on too long. It's too much. It's too much, Sam. Now I'm rooting for the white guy. Fuck you, Sam Jackson.
Well, and look, that's where you're predisposed. So the fact that Sam had you at the beginning means that, Well, he later goes on. Sam says he kind of gives him the opening. He's like, I'm the only black guy in RoboCop who's not a bad guy. So he's like, all right, I'm going to let you talk about RoboCop again. And to Wire Christian with a great question. Did he do a part in the electric company? No, that's also Morgan Freeman.
No, wait a minute.
God.
I thought it was Lawrence Fishburne. I'm confused.
No, I know.
Oh, shit. Either way, it's like, okay, fuck it. Stop. You've gone on long enough. You already killed the guy.
Would we have remembered this clip at all if he just did an interview about RoboCop? And even if he made the mistake in the beginning and he's like, and he let him off the hook. No. So this is the way that here at Who Are These Broadcasters, we choose to remember Los Angeles institution, Sam Rubin, the entertainment reporter.
Was he super old? He doesn't look that old.
No, he's not that old.
What happened? Is he on coke? What happened?
No, I believe an ailment, as they say. There's a touching tribute from his son, but that's not the way we operate on the show, Eric. I wanted to share and remind people of the most humiliating moment in his career.
That's a great way to remember whoever that guy was.
You've already forgotten. And I feel like justice is served. So let's move over to local news.
Others imitate it. We appreciate it.
Now, I know not everybody enjoys bear clips as much as I do, but I think that you'll be hard-pressed to not enjoy this one. Let's just say that I feel like, judging from that clip, Sam Rubin would have loved this story. Take a look as to what this brown bear is up to in this clip and see if it perhaps perpetuates a stereotype.
Lots of excitement in a La Cañada Flint Ridge neighborhood today where a hungry bear helped himself or herself to a snack. Why not? The Yee family recording this video of the furry intruder raiding their garage refrigerator and freezer. They live about 2 blocks north of Foothill Boulevard.
Okay,
but
wait
they
a minute.
Say they have never seen a bear this close.
Yeah, he's eating watermelon. Is that because he's brown?
I don't know. That was my question for you.
So yeah, I guess. I mean,
so he broke into their garage. he jimmied open their fridge, and there's a lot of items in that fridge, but this bear settled on one thing. I'm sure our chat doesn't have an opinion on that at all.
Right. Yes. Dwyer says the bear hates Palestine.
He's probably not wrong.
It passed on what was in the freezer and eventually settled on a big hunk of watermelon from the fridge.
Dust Cloud says Zane heard bear and ears perked up. Then he saw a quad. What is that?
A quadruped.
A quadruped and got sad again. I don't get it.
So he's referring to, I know that you're familiar with the gay community, that you celebrate. It's many participants and members. There's there's daddies, and there's also bears. So a bear is a really big, think about Vinnie Paulino with suspenders on, but no shirt. And you've pretty much got a bear. Yeah.
How do you know all this shit?
Well, I live in Hollywood. So obviously most, like 40% of the parents at my kids' schools are a bear and a twink.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm learning things. Thank you very much.
No, absolutely. We've got another video that reinforces a stereotype. This one is about how the next generation of kids not only think that their shit doesn't stink, but that they can just go ahead and dump it anywhere.
The calls for punishment grew louder.
It was done deliberately, and that's the part that's really sparking the outrage, in my opinion.
So we've got I love how much you love this. We've got a group of teens on a boat just dumping their trash into the ocean.
Yes.
And let's see how people, this is in the Miami area. Let's see what they thought about this.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission says 2 teenagers, a 15 and 16-year-old.
Well, I don't think you need to know any more about them now that we have these artist renderings. Yeah. You look at them and you think guilty, right, Eric?
Right. Rich white kids. Yes. That's what they are.
Turned themselves in after they were caught on video dumping garbage into the ocean in Boca Raton Sunday. The group later returned to shore, at times waving to the camera operator.
By the way, they're not waving to the camera.
Wow.
They're flipping off the guy who's on the camera.
Look at that. It looks like they're shooting fucking Miami Vice. I mean, if you've never before has there been more incriminating detailed video footage. Jesus.
Yeah. So, I think that it's always good to know what happens with a story like this. So we've got a quick follow-up, and there's statements from the parents involved. And I'm going to let you guess which one is the rich parent.
The parents of one of the young teens involved says, as a family, we agree with FWC Commissioner Rodney Burrito that this is a teaching moment for the young kids involved, and they should certainly participate in community service and ocean conservation efforts to deepen their understanding of the importance of our community and environment. NBC6 also spoke with the father of the other teen arrested. He said over the phone, "My son is a minor child, and we have no comment."
So, I think you know who that parent is. They have an attorney on retainer, and
that is the boat owner's dad, or the owner of the boat, right there. Actually,
right, exactly. Yeah, the other ones were just hangers on there in the boat. Well, I think that look, fun times in Florida there. It was a sad day in the Windy City as Chicago said goodbye to a dear friend, a treasured resident. And I didn't really know about this until they said goodbye to it. But let's see the sort of resident of the Windy City that is celebrated in the Chicagoland area.
Chicago rat hole is officially history. Crews were seen in Roscoe Village this morning, removing that concrete slab that went over the hearts of people across the city.
What?
So it is a chunk of sidewalk where apparently years ago, before it had hardened, a rat crawled through it. And you can see his little claws and his little tail. And apparently it had been there for years. But then back in January, somebody shared it on social media. And I guess the city felt like this wasn't really doing its reputation any favors. So in a tearful morning compilation on WGN, their morning show, people said goodbye to the rat hole.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you think that this is the biggest rat hole in all of Chicago, Eric?
Oh, I mean, my God, on the south side by the baseball stadium, there's that. It's also, you can call all those rat infested holes. Oh,
yeah. Well,
big pile of shit. Have you ever been in that area?
Over by
on the
by
south side,
Comiskey, whatever it's called now. Yes, yeah. I went there for a White Sox game. It's the only time I've been over there. Yeah.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's a lot more fun over by Wrigley, isn't it?
Yes. Jesus.
Yeah, like the kids on that boat, you'd be more likely to find them at Wrigley. So anyway, anybody in the Chicagoland area, chime in with a regular chat or a super chat and let us know how the city is handling the departure of the rat hole. But
was this the type of thing that people would show up to and like take a picture by it? And then as soon as it made the rounds on social media, more and more people were flocking to it. And considering the neighborhood where it's probably in, they were probably murdered. So this was increasing the crime.
Yeah. So the residents got annoyed because people would go there. It's sort of like, the lady that has the Breaking Bad house.
Yeah.
And, she's like got it all fenced off and tries to keep people from taking pictures or especially throwing pizzas on her roof. So I guess in the rat hole, people would leave like little candles lit and change, it was like a memorial to the to the rat.
Jizz.
I didn't see any photos of it, but let's be honest, it's probably like 80% jizz, and that's why they had to get rid of it.
Yes, people probably have jizzed into the rat hole.
Well, a rat hole is something you don't expect to see when you're walking on a sidewalk. And Dave Sarah says, rat hole was my mom's nickname in college. Dave Sarah, who beloved throughout the Dabbleverse over the last week. If you haven't been keeping up with Dave Sarah, do you know what Dave's been up to in the last week, Eric?
No.
So, this we do pride ourselves in not providing Stuttering John content. So we're not going to show a clip, but John threw a 10-year anniversary from the end of the Jay Leno Tonight Show in Calabasas, and Dave went and took videos. And the majority of the footage we have is because of Dave Sarah. And John may have not taken kindly to that. And I believe his attorneys are probably looking to see what they can file against Dave. But we know Dave is the guy who brought us the Jesse Jackson game. And we'll have him back before too long because we still have to try to figure out what Jesse Jackson said. In any case, one of the things you don't want to see when you're on an airplane is featured in this video. Now, you might have to wait for a moment before you get to really bask in what's happening here.
Make your feet up, Jerry.
Okay, so we're seeing a camera on the flight of the aisle, and you just heard somebody, you might want to lift your feet up, and we see something's happening in the aisle. Let's let the clip reveal what was going on here.
Yeah, this happened on Monday on a flight from Atlanta to Newark. The liquid started trickling down the aisle as the flight landed. The trickle turned into a stream as passengers rushed to grab their belongings and deboard. The Spirit Airlines spokesperson says it was actually clean water that was leaking from the bathroom.
Of course they said that.
It's clean water. Eric, nothing to worry about. That water looks very clean. Let's just go with the argument that maybe it was clean water. By the time it started running down the aisle, it was no longer clean water.
Right.
But I think that's a great time to fart on an airplane because nobody's going to think it's you. This is definitely the time you can get away from it.
Oh, shit. What a bad feeling.
Yeah,
and of course it's on Spirit, which is one of those shithead airlines that they pride themselves on garbage. Everything about it is shit.
You know who flies a lot on Spirit? John Melendez.
There you go.
Spirit is for the people who haven't quite achieved the elite flyer status of Frontier Airlines. And I'm glad you commented on the airline because I have another local news clip from another Spirit airline. This one makes a little bit more sense. I believe they were landing in Philadelphia. So it kind of makes sense that this had happened. And Dwyer Christian says Spirit has first class for chickens. I don't know if we're allowed to call them that anymore, but I know what you're saying. So let's check out another Spirit Airlines flight.
A Spirit Airlines flight attendant almost gets hit while trying to break up a fight on board a plane right after touchdown at Boston Logan Airport.
This guy's really going to town.
Cell phone video shows a brawl escalating in the aisle as passengers were about to get off the plane. We're blurring faces because no charges have been filed.
Next thing you know, they were throwing down right in front of us.
Nicole.
Okay. Thank you, 1985 Barbara Bach.
Barbara Bach. Oh, the kids in the chat love the Barbara Bach reference. There's a reason why I'm letting the testimonial go.
Grome was nearby with her parents on the nighttime Spirit Airlines flight from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to Boston.
We were
Boston, same
right there.
I knew it was a garbage city.
I just forgot which one it was. My arm.
Her mother is the one who recorded this video, capturing the two men falling into a row.
Stop it, stop.
Other passengers are seen and heard telling them to stop fighting.
So, her mom is the reason why I'm letting the clip still play. Her mom, of course, the great Chip Chipperson, everybody. Lyle Chip Chipperson. Fuck yeah, I just had to get up my fucking camera and whatnot and things of that nature.
Holy shit.
The chip glasses.
Look at her.
Yeah. You think, and look, I mean, you say what you want about the girl we saw earlier, but she came out of that,
Yeah. I mean, she's reasonably cute, and her mom's a goddamn hag. Look at her. Fuck.
But how do you think that that the dad in the image feels about laying next to Chip Chipperson every night?
Yeah. Look at him.
He doesn't look like he's having
he's
a great
cheating
time
on her.
there.
He's cheating on her.
Yeah, probably with a different Jim Norton character, maybe Doug Bell. All right. Well, we're going to keep things up in the air as we shift over to politics for a moment.
A lot of people talking about Christian and Carl's segment, making it great with who are these politics?
Typically, I don't condone people harassing someone. It's a terrible thing to say.
What?
Oh my gosh. Hey, Adrian.
A hag like Zane's wife.
Oh, well,
come on.
You can't say it about my wife because it would be a hate crime then. So nobody wants to get on that list, Zane's keeping things pure, but whereas I don't mind sullying up the gene pool, as it were. But in any case, I don't appreciate the idea of people being harassed on an airplane. And I also don't know that it needs to be for pro-Palestine sentiment unless the person is New York Mayor Eric Adams. So if somebody wants to harass Eric Adams on an airplane, I'm going to enjoy it at least on some level. And let's see how he handles it.
Hey, Eric Adams? Yeah, fuck you! You support the genocide in Palestine. There are homeless people all over New York. That girl was partying. You don't actually care about the citizens of New York. Why are you in Miami? You know there are people being arrested there. People are homeless in New York. People cannot afford food. You keep cutting the education budget so you can fund the police. That's all you care about, funding the police. Everything is underfunded because of you.
Trying to get holding the line.
I let it go so long because you hear that New Yorker who's behind her. Come on, you're holding the line.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, people don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, no one cares. All right? Don't go protest in the area that isn't fucking with anybody. Not in the goddamn aisle, you stupid asshole. Jesus Christ.
I knew you wouldn't appreciate where she chose to do her protesting. And I mean, he just kind of looks at it. And, it's always on me to have to go and find those videos, because if you want to play local news coverage of it, of course, they bleep out all the good parts. The people fighting on the Spirit airline, I tried really hard. I wanted to see them fighting, but all the videos had their faces blurred.
Yeah.
But telling Eric Adams, fuck you. Well, that I could find. So
The Wired says, my name is Samuel L. Jackson, miss.
Beautiful, The Wired, Christian. I love that. Oh my God, that's amazing. Well, Eric, I've got good news and I've got bad news for you. I'm going to start with the bad news. North Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has canceled the rest of her book tour.
What?
The good news is that she did leave us with a couple of gems before she made that decision, maybe 2 or 3 days too late. I think that she might have wanted to do that a little earlier. Abby Normal with a $5 super sticker. Abby Normal, you had a great comment earlier that we put up. Super sticker. I like when people do super stickers because I don't have to pretend I know how to read. But anyway, let's get back to Kristi Noem. She was on Fox Business, and Dwyer Christian wants her as VP. And Eric, you seem to feel like all of this is only helping her chances at becoming VP.
Yes, I agree with Dwyer. I want her as VP as well. For many reasons. And but I mean, holy shit, we would have jokes for 4 full fucking years. So please.
Well, especially if she then ran for president after those 4 years.
Oh,
just imagine. So Kristi Noem sat down with Stuart Varney on Fox Business, and she probably figured, all right, he's a very conservative guy. I'm going to be getting nothing but softballs, right?
Right.
Well, Kristi Noem would have been wrong if she thought that.
That you are in line to be Trump's vice president.
No, it's up to Donald Trump. He's the only person who will decide this. He's the only person who will decide. And I do speak to him.
May I ask what he said to you about being vice president?
I never tell anybody my personal conversations.
Did
with
the dog story
President
come up
Trump.
in your conversation?
I talk to President Trump all the time.
About the dog?
About a lot of things. And right now, I tell you what, he is being persecuted in a political witch hunt in this court.
Like a hunt where you shot your dog?
Out of him about how tough he is and how well he is doing.
Did you bring up
the
dog?
Yes, enough, Stuart.
Did you
this
bring up
interview
the dog
is
with Trump?
ridiculous, what you were doing right now.
So
you need to stop. It is.
Okay.
It is.
We'll
Let's
stop.
talk about some real topics that Americans care about.
I'm afraid we're out of time.
Oh.
I do thank you for being with us. I know I pressed hard, but that's what people are talking about to this day.
Yeah.
Don't know? Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
You bet.
She still says thank you at the end. And I'm like, all right, I'll give her credit on that. But Stuart, this interview is getting ridiculous. And I'm like, well, yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be playing it.
Well, I mean, and whenever she does, I mean, she writes about it in her book. People pick up on it. They talk about the book. And to me, everybody wants to talk. The only thing anybody wants to talk about is the goddamn dog.
Yeah. Well, also how she pretended that she met with Kim Jong-un. So you got two things that people want to talk about.
Absolutely.
But
her words.
Start with the dog. Yeah.
Start with the dog, and then you didn't orgasm strong enough, so you killed the goat.
Yeah.
The fact that people watched you do it and they pretended like they did. You wrote all these are your words. Why would we not talk about this?
And she does have her eyes on Commander Biden. Remember that. Biden, I'm talking about Biden's dog, Commander. That's she's like, yeah, somebody needs to take care of that dog.
Oh,
so
yeah.
All that being said, I think we all know what Newsmax is. We've delighted in some clips in the months that we've been doing this show. And I would say that it's easy to characterize Newsmax as the home team for conservatives and for Republicans. It's a safe space. They should feel comfortable sitting on the Newsmax set, and that they're not going to be pressed on anything unless you wrote a book about how you killed your dog and pretended to meet Kim Jong-un.
Asked me a month ago, who's at the top of the list to run with Donald Trump? I would have said your name. If you asked me that same question this morning, I don't even think you're on the list.
Really?
So my question for
why
you,
is that?
yes, really, and it's because of things that have come out in this book, like your claims that you met Kim Jong-un, and then over the last week, I've
been to the DMZ. I've been to the area. What
did
I've said
you stare
is
down Kim Jong-un? Let me, Governor, 1 second. I will give you an opportunity to respond. I just want to get this out there. So here's the quote from the book. You say that I remember.
So we've heard this quote
Holy
before.
shit.
Where, yeah, he's just going to read that quote. But my favorite moment is when she says to him a moment ago, like, oh, really? Why is that? Why do you think you're not on the list anymore, stupid? Like, the Wired Christian and Eric Zane notwithstanding, Trump can put up with a lot, but somebody who consistently gets bad press and someone who's not good at lying isn't a good politician.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? We have a beautiful woman who no one is taking even any of her lies. She can't get away with fuck. Trump, who looks like a goddamn alien, can talk about grabbing women by the pussy and no one cares. What the fuck? How is that even possible?
In a different time and place, if you, as a single man, found yourself in a situation where Kristi Noem, the lie she told was, "Don't worry, I'm on the pill," would that have been all right for you, back in the day, hypothetically, Eric?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
Sure. All right. Well, the Newsmax doesn't really give up just yet.
I'm aware of the content that we had it changed, and that's the way that it is. So I should not have put that anecdote in the book. I'm not going to talk about my meetings.
Indicates that it happened,
I'm
right?
not going to talk about my conversations with world leaders.
She thought she was off the hook.
Policy for 30 years.
Yep.
For 30 years, I've been traveling the
same thing she said last week
to world leaders, and that is a conversation that I'm not going to have in this book. So I've answered that in other in interviews already. I've been very forthright, and I think that a typical politician wouldn't be that honest. As soon as it became to my attention, I asked for the content.
That's a judo flip.
Governor,
by the way, did you notice the female co-anchor tried to talk, and both I think this guy's Greg Kelly, but I could be wrong. Both he and Kristi Noem are like, "Shh, honey, please. Grown-ups are talking, all right? We don't have time for your bullshit."
You're right. Oh my God. This is fantastic. I love all of this.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit more.
Meeting actually happened. I don't think it did. And I think if it did, you'd be able to confirm for me that yes, it did. And here's when it happened. It happened, say, at such and such a date or a month, or you don't have to be specific.
I'm not going to talk about my conversations.
You're going to continue to have to answer this question then.
I don't think so, because the average American citizen is more worried about the border.
Oh,
do you think that?
I don't give a fuck. I haven't thought of that border once since this goddamn book came out. Yeah. All I've been thinking about is you and that fat little Chinese guy or whatever the fuck, and killing the goddamn dog.
Yeah, you live in Michigan. Bitch. The only border you're caring about is the one closest to Cardiff Electric. You don't.
No. To me, the border problem is solved the second you talked about how you murder your animals.
So, again, as we referenced, she did cancel her media tour, and Greg Gutfeld was supposed to have her on the next day. And he was so pissed that she canceled. He claims that he read the book, and that's part of the reason that he's pissed. But instead of not doing the segment, he had Dana Perino fill in for her and answer the questions that he would have liked to have asked Kristi Noem had she been on Gutfeld.
I noticed that you seem not to know what was in the book, yet you voiced the audio for the book. Did you ever read the book?
Thank you for reading my book. I said some words that were written about me, and they were in a certain order of, they call them sentences.
Yes.
And so I read those aloud. Right. I don't know if that means I read the book.
Okay. You know what? Would you blame, you've had a lot of controversies here. The ghostwriter, the editor, the publisher, was it their fault?
Well, a little known fact, another one of my dogs, his name was Ghostwriter. And I killed him this morning.
Holy shit. She's a laughing stock. Kristi Noem is everybody's laughing in her fucking face.
I mean, Dana Perino was a White House press secretary, and even she's clowning you on a late night TV show. What? And at some point prior to this exchange, Gutfeld said that Dana Perino was one of the people who specifically said, "Kristi, don't put that story in your book." So, so we got to enjoy that, but I don't know that we're going to hear much of Kristi Noem for a while. But if she gets the BP slot, then I think we're going to have a lot of fun during 2024 here on the show.
I worried about border collies, says
from JFK head chunk, who is definitely the second funniest person on this show. I don't want to rank first. I don't want to play that game, but he's definitely the second funniest person on this show. I love JFK Head Chunk. So, all right. A lot of times we show clips and people feel like there's a bias. And I don't know if they realize what network this is, what YouTube channel this is, but I do try to sometimes make a fair and balanced presentation. WATB, we're like the old Fox News. We report, you decide. So New York Governor Kathy Hochul is what I would say the perfect progressive, because she's so focused on the plight of the underprivileged that she doesn't even hear how racist she sounds when she talks about them.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
So even if you don't have a computer in the home, I'm pretty sure everyone on the planet knows what a computer is.
Right.
But she's like, you know, all those minorities in the South Bronx, I mean, they don't even know what one is, let alone actually have one.
Let's be honest. Who in their right mind wants to engage someone who doesn't know what a fucking computer is?
All right, that's a great point. Yeah. Yeah. Well, more of the same. Our buddy Reverend Shitstain, who will be on with us in a little bit. But before we even get to that, we have an Attack Dog Customs chat. Is this Kristi Noem? I'm not quite sure I know what this is.
Love our friends at Attack Dog Customs, because they each put they Attack Dog Customs threw $10 at us for Christian to say something like, "I'm Christian and I'm so pleased to announce this is Eric and I's last WATB. Carl and Blind Mike will be doing 2 WATS episodes from here on out. Goodbye, everybody."
I would be a huge supporter of 2 episodes of Who Are These Socials every week. I feel like Carl and Blind Mike don't need more stuff on their plate.
No, they're already busy enough.
I'm a tremendous supporter of Who Are These Socials. It might still be my favorite show on the Who Are These podcast YouTube channel, but I am partial to this one. In any case, Reverend Shitstain sent me this one that is again another icon on the progressive Mount Rushmore, not realizing how what he's saying is racist.
Black, Latino, and Native American patients have access to Black, Latino, and Native American doctors. Their health outcomes substantially improve. They are more likely to receive preventative services. They are more satisfied with their care, and they are more likely to live longer and happier lives.
So what Bernie's saying is that minorities don't go to white doctors. And when they go to minority doctors, they have happier and healthy lives. Look, if he was making the point that white doctors maybe don't want to work at a hospital in the South Bronx where kids don't even know what a computer is, I would hear that argument. I don't know if I'd agree with it, but I'd listen to it, you know?
But help me to understand. Is he saying what you just said, or is he saying black doctors are good doctors?
Oh, I think he knows he has to say that, but he's, you know, and by the way, you didn't hear those words come out of my mouth. I'm just saying.
He's saying if a black guy goes to a white doctor, he's not going to get as good a health care?
No, they're less likely
to
go. Yeah. They're less likely to receive good health care, because if they're sitting in the waiting room and a white doctor walks out and they call their name, they're going to just pretend that they don't speak English and they're not going to answer. Yeah.
Both of these are horrible examples that seem like they're fabricated 1 minute before he said them.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that was AI Bernie Sanders that said that instead of the actual Bernie?
A black man would not even consider ever going to a white doctor. He would walk out of the lobby. He would walk out of the waiting room as soon as he saw a white man.
So there's a lot of attention based on an exchange that Vivek Ramaswamy had with Ann Coulter. She was on his show this week. Who knew he had a show? But he apparently does. And I want to play the clip, and then I have some thoughts that I would like to share.
So bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there.
Shit.
Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during in fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Sure. We'll get back to that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I want to know what your thoughts are on that statement, that comment, and I'll tell you what I think after EZ reacts to it.
Well, it's incredibly vile and disgusting, but I give her so much goddamn credit for jumping in with both feet in her pussy to tell everybody how fucked up she is.
Yeah, well, they have a fairly long conversation. I did watch the whole thing because I wanted to see if they got back to it. Only in broad terms. She's basically saying, I'm only going to vote for WASPs.
Right.
And that was her point. But it's important to keep something in mind with Ann Coulter. This was about 20 years ago. She got a lot of attention when she said, if you remember John Edwards running for president, she said John Edwards has a bumper sticker that says, ask me about my dead son, because of how often he would bring it up. And when Ann Coulter says something like that, all you need to do is go to Amazon and see, oh, she has a new book coming out as she does right now. It's called Adios America. So Ann is very smart. I produced a radio show for years where she would come on, and I started to appreciate that she's actually very funny. Not everybody necessarily found her interaction with Vivek Ramaswamy funny. But
no, I don't think people would. I mean, I find it funny because of how bold it is. That's what I find hilarious.
Right.
I typically don't take people like her seriously because, well, it's fucking vile and disgusting. But at the same time, her being so out in front of her racist behavior like that is, we need more people like that. Well, I mean, because I don't want to be splitting hairs on who I should ignore and who I should actually give my time to. I know she's a crazy fucking racist. So fuck that bitch. But if she wants to go ahead and say it, fuck yeah, go for it, baby.
Well, I do like how upfront she is. She's a take charge woman, and it does give me the opportunity. I did mention in the Discord that I was going to step into the Wayback Machine for a moment. This goes back to early 2008 when Ann Coulter clearly fell in love with Norm Macdonald, who was guest hosting the Dennis Miller Show. Yes, I was on the other side of the glass for this, but I think back fondly on this exchange. Just a couple of short clips. You can find the whole interview on YouTube.
Ann Coulter. Hey, welcome to the show, Ann. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. I saw you on O'Reilly last night. You were magnificent.
That's nice to say, but I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And I'm not used to satellites. You must have done a lot of those.
Oh, yeah. No, you never get used to that.
Yeah, I got all confused. But it's really fun to talk to you.
Thank you. I'm a huge fan.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's nice.
All right, Normie.
Now,
I hate when guests say that, but I am.
Oh, that's nice. A pretty girl like you. What do you do for guys? I've always heard that dudes are afraid of strong women. Do you ever?
Yeah, well, maybe weak men are, but that's not really what I'm in the market for.
All right, I've got one more clip because Norm is definitely intrigued by this, and I could never get anything out of him about anything that may have ever happened. I don't even know if they ever actually.
Wait a minute, you were physically in the same room as Norm Macdonald at this point, right?
I was in the other side of the glass.
But you had interacted about
I could
what
see
you were
him.
doing for the day. You had talked about all the behind the scenes shit about the show and getting it off and around. That's fantastic. I love that you worked with him. I think he's great.
Oh yeah, it was an honor and a privilege. Obviously, I spend much more time working with Dennis Miller, but my interactions with Norm, quick plug. I'm going to be on with Quadfather tomorrow night on the BYB podcast, and he was a big fan of the Dennis Miller Show and Norm Macdonald. So I will reference the fact that we played this clip, and it was sort of legendary that this exchange happened. I'm going to play just one more, and then we'll move on to stuff that happened, in this decade. But Norm does realize something here. He realizes an angle. Kelly Riddle this episode make Whitey look bad. Good job, guys. I think it's a little bit the opposite. Did you see the bear in the fridge? All right. So anyway, Norm comes up with the perfect angle for like, well, if I am trying to pick up Ann Coulter, I think it would sound like this.
What I find intriguing about you is that you're unapologetically pro-life. And
That's what I noticed about your appearance last night. I emailed everyone on my email list. That was magnificent.
Well, it's not a popular opinion, but I've always wondered why it's not a subject of debate in the country, since the country is so split, but you never hear it like discussed in rational terms. Like
No, you're right. You're right. Well, I think in part it's because one side doesn't really want the details discussed.
Why does she talk like that? What is she doing?
She doesn't usually talk like that.
She sounds weird. You're right. You're right.
She's smitten by the great Norm Macdonald.
Yes, she is in love. I think she's touching her bean.
I was going to put it a little bit more eloquently and say that the office chair she's sitting in is sopping wet at this point, but potato. But anyway, as I said, you can find that. And whenever I would remind Norm, hey, remember that time you flirted with Ann Coulter on the air? He'd blush a little bit. He'd get that look in his eyes. It's the same way as if you asked him if it was true that he banged Al McPherson. So I don't know. I'm just saying there's rumors that follow people, and some people deserve it. And I am the one way I'm like Blind Mike Geary. If I have an excuse to play Norm Macdonald clips, I absolutely will. Every single time. But we'll move on now because we've been talking about somebody who might get to be the vice president after the election. The guy who's looking to move back into the White House. He was able to get together in front of, I believe, 100,000 of the Jersey Shore's finest and have some real WATB worthy moments like this.
Indicted more than the great Alphonse Capone, Scarface. Al Capone was so mean that if you went to dinner with him and he didn't like you, you'd be dead the next morning. And I got indicted more than him on bullshit, too. Just bullshit.
Get him! Get him!
You hear the crowd.
My father's looking down. I had a father who was great. My mother was great. They had a great marriage, married for many years. That's one thing. I can't beat him on that one. He was married for a long time, but they're looking down now. They're up there in heaven, definitely in heaven. And he's looking down and he said, how the hell did my son be placed in that kind of company? But it's okay because the people of this country know it. We're doing great. We've never done better. People understand it.
So
wow,
the getting that many people chanting bullshit in New Jersey usually only happens if Springsteen doesn't come out for a third encore.
Yeah,
that's usually the only way you can get that to happen.
Wow,
so,
there's nothing better than one of those Trump pep rallies. Those things are you've got the people that are there just because they love Trump, and then you've got people that are there just because they want to be witness to when it all goes down. They want to do the people watching. And oh my God, they're absolutely fantastic.
Well, there are usually some strange moments from those rallies, Eric. And there's some surprising accolades for, you could call him a historical figure. He's somebody we've known about for a while. But I think our audience is going to be a little surprised for someone that former President Trump refers to as great.
Silence of the Lamb. Has anyone ever seen the Silence of the Lamb?
The Lamb.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
The late, great
He's a
Hannibal
wonderful
Lecter.
Man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner. Is this poor doctor walked by.
Wonderful man.
I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter. Congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. We have people that are being released into our country that we don't want in our country.
That was so weird.
It's so weird that a serial killing cannibal fictional character.
Yeah, and he's fucking up the whole thing. Everyone's like, yeah, this is great. They don't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he's acting like it's a real person.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. By the way, there's a very wide crowd shot back there. There's a reverse Where's Waldo game that we could try and play, but I don't know. I think we're already getting criticized. But, look, Hannibal Lecter was a genius. Again, also not real. But once you get past that, I assume that, it's fine. But I just couldn't believe that's... Oh, no. Sorry. JFK Head Chunk distracted me. You go ahead and read that one.
Yeah, JFK Head Chunk says he grabs pussy. Hannibal just smells it. That's right. There was a reference to a smelly cunt in that film, but I don't think Hannibal said it.
No, it was referring to Jodie Foster. Yeah, her character. But sometimes art imitates real life, let's just say. All right. Well, we had fun in the realm of politics. Let's mosey on over to who are these sportscasters?
Home of the hourly triple play.
WATB, who are these sportscasters? Just listen and find out who are these sportscasters?
Miggs. It was Miggs.
Yeah, that guy's name was Miggs. Yeah, in the cell next to Hannibal. The late great Hannibal Lecter convinced Miggs to take his own life because he dared to be rude to Agent Starling. By the way, if you really want to dig deep on YouTube, I once was a guest on Yo Remember the 90s with Cardiff Electric and Obnoxious John, where we did spend a lot of time talking about that film. But we want to only go a little bit back to the beginning of the baseball season. I want to remind you, Eric, and our audience about opening day at Citi Field where the Mets play. The veteran of the game, a gentleman that I think touched all of our hearts, and we did entitle an episode named after him.
And here he is, our veteran of the game, Seymour Wiener.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I think it's safe to say that America caught Wiener fever. Do you think that's an accurate description as to what happened? Yeah,
absolutely. Everybody was loving the fact that he's got that can opener looking mouth, and he's a veteran, and everybody loves the veterans. It is Seymour Wiener, and it's the Mets. It's beautiful.
Yeah, everything about it was beautiful, and the Mets did not pass up a good promotional opportunity because about a week ago they did have a promotion that was tied into Seymour Wiener, which was $1 hot dog night, and it does say on the post, everyone loves a wiener.
Yes.
So they did $1 hot dog night, and everybody celebrated, and unfortunately Seymour was unavailable, but I believe members of his family were able to go. I mean, he got out of the house and went to one baseball game. I can't imagine that it's something that he can do, multiple times.
Right.
So
yeah.
we'll just be glad that we had that. So I'm not going to play much of it, but the Mets sideline, it's not really sideline, the on the field reporter, Steve Gelbs, decided to dress appropriately for the night.
I don't think that's ketchup and mustard. I think those are the grill marks that look like ketchup to you. It's just mustard.
Dear God.
So, yeah, Steve Gelb is wearing a hot dog costume over his usual business casual wear. And there's not really any funny drops from this except for Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling making fun of him. But how much do you hate the fact that he showed up to work dressed like a hot dog, Eric?
I completely hate that they're doing it, and they should dress the old man up in that fucking thing. That's what they should do.
That is exactly what they should do. Well, I mean, look, if I hope he lives another 20 years, but if one day he does pass, I hope that there's the consideration that perhaps he could be dressed in the uniform with which he proudly served this show as a guy with the last name Wiener. But let me know in the chat if you enjoyed the Wiener suit. But I did want to play this clip that I think this just happened the other day. That this was on Undisputed, which is Skip Bayless's show, which there's nobody watching now ever since Shannon Sharpe left. Oh my God. I love the fact that, like, as if Anthony Cumia was in the chat, that's the picture he would use.
Anthony Cumia threw $15.
Yeah, I just took my glasses off, so I can't read it. I don't know.
I, Christian Bladt, would have a much shorter life expectancy if I was treated by a black doctor, because I'd rather shoot myself in the fucking head first.
That's amazing.
And good job. Cumia. Good job with
By the way, the real Anthony Cumia's new book is coming out in mid-July, so why not pre-order it at this moment? I have 2 more clips before we bring on our friend. Paul Pierce, I guess, is a regular on Undisputed now. And it's not so much the way he casually uses a word that Eric uses in his private life all the time. It's more the way Skip Bayless reacts to the way that Paul Pierce uses this word.
Games. Look at it. Look at this nigga Key. DiVincenzo was averaging 29 points per game.
Back it up.
We want to make sure our visual audience gets to see, but for our audio audience, is it safe to say that it looks like that bear just dropped a watermelon on Skip's foot? Is that an appropriate thing to say? Here, I want to make sure everybody gets to see it. So let's check it out.
3 games. Look at it. Look at this nigga Key. DiVincenzo was averaging 29 points per game, 50% from.
And then Skip just looks down and he stares. He's like, I'm going to move my papers around.
You see, we need to encourage this behavior. This should happen on a regular basis. This is okay in my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Not okay if Skip says it, but it's okay if these two communicate like that. That's just the way it is. Don't ask me why. And I'm not going to tell you that I don't enjoy it. I fucking love it.
Well, the best part really is how uncomfortable Skip got, because he's like, wait, we can say that on the show? Just think about how many times I would have said it to Shannon Sharpe if I knew we were allowed to use it. All right. I'm very terrible at about pronunciations of NBA players, but the Mavericks, Luka Doncic has a lot of trouble focusing on his post-game press conference here. You just need to listen. You don't even have to look.
We were open shots, so just our sharing the ball and our energy was great.
What do you think? Okay. Okay, moving on.
Oh. No, he just puts his head down on the microphone. I don't know how close he is to the locker room, Easy, but it's close enough where somebody was having a post-game celebration.
Yeah, I wanted it. I've been looking for more info on this. Was that actually someone getting plowed, or was that just someone playing audio when they weren't supposed to?
Right. Or is it like, somebody on one of his teammates knows that he's talking, so he like gets his girlfriend like, all right, act like I'm just railing you, and we'll go from there. But anyway, so those were our sports clip for the week. Sports clips. If that haircut chain wants to sponsor us, this would be the great opportunity. But that notwithstanding, I do want to welcome back to the show. And whenever he's backstage in the waiting room, he always makes me very nervous because there's a lot of visuals there. But let's welcome back Reverend Shitstain, a.k.a. Robo Shitstain Mark 9000, who is back here with us. And while we try to not provide much John Melendez content, I know that he's got some balloons that do you know about this feature, I guess, on Macs, if you're using StreamYard, Eric, that
No.
there's things that you can do where like if you do a thumbs up or if you do 2 thumbs up, you get fireworks behind you. So John had this happen where I guess these balloons went up right behind him.
Well, he was riding his bike when there was a
Yeah. I'm not even sure what that one was, but anyway, so we'll have the Reverend with us in a moment, and we'll his microphone just fell over. He told us so.
Oh no! Oh my God! That's
perfect
crazy.
timing. It's the ideal timing for that, don't you think?
Microphone falling over. Jesus Christ! How will he recover?
I don't know, but you know what? We'll go back into one more sport clip while he tries to do that. So let's see. Pete Fairbanks of the Tampa Bay Rays gives a very honest assessment, and we do appreciate honesty on this show. And I like how upfront he is about his performance in the game that had just concluded.
And location, selection, anything specific?
No, I thought it generally sucked. I don't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, you know, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
Where do you kind of go from here? Is it looking at tape? Is it going through mechanics? Where do you kind of go from here?
You tell me. I've tried that.
So I love that. I don't know. It's not necessarily a particular kind of suck, but he's very upfront about all of the sucking that
I always like the questions when you know the reporter who doesn't know anything will ask, and gives you options of things that you can do to improve, like work on mechanics, and watch tape. Even asking that question, it seems so ridiculous.
Yeah, no, the follow-up question to the meme-worthy or clip-worthy interaction is always like one that just makes you shake your head. We're going to ask Reverend Shitstain, how would he try to, how would he feel like he could describe this performance where he knocked over his microphone?
Oh, well, I would describe it as very embarrassing and the worst fucking possible timing I could possibly have with that. So my bad.
I feel like you could get a second floor walk up in Calabasas with that kind of technical know-how. And I'm sorry, what were you going to say, EZ?
I was going to say, the Reverend, if you ever decided to become a chick, you'd be a cute girl. Has anyone ever told you that?
Yes. You're not the first man to tell me that. Zane.
You should transition. You would be a hot chick. I'm telling you.
Jealous of the hair, huh?
Oh, you are beautiful.
I mean, I came on here to joke around, not get hit on, Zane. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Save that for WATS.
He's not a piece of meat, okay? And Dwyer Christian says, Rev, it's not as bad as a green screen falling over. And fake Anthony Cumia says he has delicate and girlish features. So
I did put a clip in, by the way, if you'd like to play it before we get started with the game.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely. I saw that, and I accidentally brought it up when I didn't realize that you had done that. But our buddy Liam McEnany, also on SJ's shit list over the last week, says that about Pete Fairbanks, says that they're the Tampa Bay Ray DeVitos. So if you make me laugh, you will get up there for free. All right. So, so you have a clip for us. Does it need any setup? This is before we.
No, it's just it's a quick cut from a skit from The Whitest Kids You Know that kind of ties into what Bernie Sanders was talking about. It's like 15 seconds.
Okay, so 15 seconds before we dive back into our friend Gail Chord Schuler and the Church of Gail.
Well, he was riding his bike when there was a lightning strike, and now
is the audio not playing?
Do you not hear the audio?
Black doctor.
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
So he was a black doctor. Is that what that's what the bit is?
Oh. Okay, the audience can hear it. Yeah.
Okay.
He was riding his bike. He got
okay.
struck by lightning.
See, we had an issue before we started, so that's why I believed you. I'm like, John, you say anything. I'm like, oh, it must be true.
Well, he was riding his bike when there was a lightning strike, and now he reads real fast. He's good at science and math. Black doctor.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Where exactly did he get the bike?
He stole it.
Right. That's what I thought.
Great show.
So that was from, what was it? The Whitest Kids You Know? Yeah. All right. So we're gonna finish off the saga of Gail Chord Schuler this week. And for anybody that maybe has been delinquent, give us a brief 1-minute summary of just who she is and what we've seen previously. I have chosen to bring up one of the final images from when we had her on last week, because it was just some next level stuff that she was, fake Anthony Cumia just got a little chub seeing her there. But
yes.
What would you like to say about Gail Chord Schuler?
Gail Chord Schuler is a wonderful internet personality who has been around for forever. She's made appearances on Tosh.0. She has her own website, her own news network, Gabriel Chana Fox Zero, which is broadcast all over America except for Alabama, I believe, which is where she lives. And also you can only find it on Channel Zero, and they talk to you telepathically and whatnot. In her world, she's the Empress of the world. She has a church called the Church of Gail, which is an Starship Enterprise clone that floats around in outer space. This is actually the second one after the first one was destroyed by Angelina Ballerina, the Antichrist. And she's currently in her war against Lizzo, the current Jesuit Antichrist. Lizzo being the fat black woman who does pop music.
Which, again, every week when it comes up, I always say that's the one thing that I have no issue with, her talking about Lizzo being the Antichrist. Yes. And she believes she was married to Brent Spiner.
Brent Spiner, yes. Yeah. Dated from Star Trek. She's married to Brent Spiner, although Brent Spiner will tell you he has multiple restraining orders on her. But this is not true, for that is a fake clone Brent Spiner sent there by the Jesuits. And also Vladimir Putin is currently helping Brent Spiner, who's the president of the United States, run the country as vice president, protecting us from nukes and sentient tacos and burritos that are giant floating around in Mexico and whatnot, trying to attack America.
Yoda World asks, how do you get banned from Alabama? And then Dust Cloud has the response, Shuley shut down the Alabama broadcast. So I think we have our answers there. All right. So anytime you need me to stop, Reverend or Easy, we will take a pause. But let's take this into the barn here.
See if we can't get through it.
A minimally dressed young black woman knocked into Hugh's shoulder as she passed the two of us on the way to the women's bathroom, and he turned to look. Like a train, two other women followed her in a line, followed by three black men, all of them smiling excitedly at one another. Hugh did a double take, then looked at me. Those men just followed those girls into the women's restroom, Hugh said quietly.
Pause.
Oh, yes.
We will definitely pause. Yeah, she reads the way somebody I know reads super chats on a different channel. Yeah.
So what she is describing is the traditional mating rituals of Black Americans, where they go into the Popeyes bathroom and have a chimp out to make kids. That's her words, not mine.
Sorry. Did she actually just say the words that you just said? Or
she will.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, no spoilers. Come on, Reverend.
Getting ahead of
In
myself.
Black culture, public bathrooms are a very important social resource. It's where young Black men and women go when they're ready to have a family and they meet a Black person of the opposite sex. You mean they're going in there to get pregnant? Hugh asked incredulously. Yeah, Brent be right, Terrance chipped in. Making babies the old-fashioned way. Yeah, that be my little nieces in there. I'm so happy for them. Kwashika already got 8 or 9 kids back at her mom's house, and I think Laquifa got 5. Shanane, I think this be her first one.
No, Shanane. Not Shanane.
Yeah, she's thinking of Bowser from Shanana. So, Reverend, somehow you found a more offensive clip than when she was in blackface. I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
It's better. Okay. Every clip is more offensive than the last with Gail, but it's not meant to offend. It's just the truth.
She's meant to enlighten. Yes.
In jail, though, she might have to drop it off with her aunt. Huh? They don't raise the babies, Hugh asked. Oh, no, I chuckled. It's tradition for Black women to raise each other's children. The responsibility usually falls upon the grandmother. The younger women have a hard time finding men to grow their families with if they have too many kids to look after. What about the fathers?
I thought this
Black men are genetically programmed to lead.
Sorry, what was that?
Maybe this is a transcript of Kumia's next book that we don't know about.
This is the audio book. Yeah.
Yes.
This is either that or it's a deleted chapter from Kristi Noem's book. All right. So she's talking about the genetics of African-American gentlemen.
Black men are genetically programmed to leave once the woman is pregnant. It's how they diversify their gene pool. Don't they ever get married? Very seldomly. Married Black people are more common in regions of the U.S. that don't have as many public bathrooms. Take the West Coast, for example. Have you noticed how there are way fewer Black people in Los Angeles, California versus Orlando, Florida?
You know what? I haven't noticed that.
Is that accurate? I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to say a little bit the opposite of what she's saying, but maybe because when I go to Orlando, I just go to Disney World. But agree to disagree, Gail. I'm sorry to speak out against you here.
You see any fights breaking out while you're there, Christian, between this demographic?
By the way, Eric and I both pounced on the same comment, so it negated it because we both wanted to share fake Anthony Quinn. You can leave that up for a little while. That would makes me laugh.
Decades ago, California enacted statewide changes to limit their Black population, which involved cutting the number of public bathrooms and making most public bathrooms require a key. If Black people want to have babies, they have little choice but to get married. Otherwise, the odds are too slim of meeting someone new who happens to be Black and also happens to be near any public bathrooms. I gotcha now, Brent. I didn't mean to sound racist or ignorant, Hugh apologized. That's quite all right, Hugh. You're educating yourself, which is the right thing to do.
Wow. All right.
All right. So hang on. So when we first met her, I was like, all right, I get all the crazy, but I didn't realize just how racist she was going to be.
Well,
Reverend.
she doesn't hate Black people either. She loves Black people to death. It's just, they're different.
She looks she looks remarkably better from year to year, and from this clip to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, she is half Japanese too, so she's not
okay.
Like all white.
All right. You want to talk about chubs forming? Now you've got my attention. I accidentally backed up the clip a little bit because I'm a rookie at this. But here we go to 2017.
Because of the lightning bolts videos, that Rule 13 escaped from her prison and set bombs all over Angelina's pink spacecraft. So good job listening to those videos, folks. That saved the day. Other than that, I think she would have obliterated Zach Knight.
Pause 1 sec.
And
okay, we will pause. Yeah.
What she's describing real quick, just as a bit of lore, she's talking about Rule 13, the female Nazi successfully sneaking into Angelina Ballerina, the toy, her Jesuit spacecraft, and planting C4 to nuke it after being told plans through her YouTube videos. Okay, you can go ahead.
That's I'm so glad that you were able to decipher this for us.
Because I don't know what's more disturbing, her just doing her thing, or how eloquently Reverend Shitstain has it down about her. It's like he's studied her. He's got like a master's degree in this psychopath.
Well, I've interviewed her and I've spoken to her multiple times, so I know what's up with her.
Is that in this compilation, or is that a separate?
It's a separate thing. It's a whole other hour.
All right. Oh my gosh!
You could probably have sex with her. He might. She might be into dudes with soft girl features.
I'm not God or a Brent Spiner
or Data. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, let's let Gail have the floor.
Told Zach to kill the bitch. And we launched a missile onto the station, and it plunged towards Earth and crashed. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump did survive, but he got severe damage to his rectal area, which is probably why he's been taking out his frustrations on all the journalists right now.
Is that why?
Hillary Clinton raped him rectally using a dildo, and she severely damaged his rectal area. Pray that heals for him.
Gail, can you say that again, but slower?
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm hearing brain to brain that we had to put Donald Trump in jail for a short bit because he was opposing me as the full American.
This is 2018. I think
even though I agree with about 80% of his policies.
He was still president.
The reason I told my men to give me full Empress powers and to override Trump is because Lori McBride and her Dem cucks have his hands tied and have got him cornered. So that he.
Can you remind everyone who Lori McBride is very quickly?
Lori McBride is Brent Spiner's wife, and she's convinced that Lori McBride is actually an agent of the Pope sent here to prevent her from getting laid by Brent Spiner.
Dave Sarah is very excited to see you in here because this is the guest slot on WAT.
Hi, Mr. Sarah. Thank you for your work.
I have a question. Has anybody ever? Has
Go ahead.
Brent Spiner ever commented about her?
Yes, people have asked about her to his face at like convention panels, fan panels, where you get to ask questions to the stars. And he's just like, oh, she's a deranged woman. I hope that she gets help. I have restraining orders out on her. Please don't bring her up. Fuel her delusions.
Every night he prays to Android Jesus for her salvation.
Was almost totally intimidated and frozen into not carrying out many of his policies, like enforcing the border, going after big tech for antitrust, and trying to start wars with countries like Russia, who should be our allies. Our relationship with the nation of Israel is complicated due to Laurie's takeover of Israel in 2017 and her army of Jew clones who are impersonating real Jews and making the Jews serve her and oppose me as world leader. Because I'm literally King David, we are hoping to retake Israel and oust Laurie's rule over it. So unfortunately, most of the news you hear that lots of Jews have turned treacherous is correct. Thanks to Laurie. Unfortunately, Jews have a tendency to be greedy, and this is a vice that Laurie also shares. She knows how to financially reward those who support her. Laurie reigns by bribery and murder, but some very Orthodox Jews appreciate my King David genes, and I'm hoping that over the course of the next year, we can remove Laurie's influence from the Jewish nation.
What is this that she's reading, actually?
She will take Skype conversations with her trolls, which are her handlers. They're the ones keeping her not on the streets and shit.
Yeah.
And so they will talk to her as Brent Spiner or Jesus or whoever else. And she will have these long conversations and she just reads. She'll take the Skype combos and then type them out into like an essay form and read that essay. And that's all she does with her life.
Wow.
Dwyer Christian has the point that Tommy T from MSCS Media, as known as To Catch an Alien, is her alien neighbor.
Love to see him interview Gail.
I hope that Tommy T reaches out to get some of the tea.
These are what I have available.
Oh no. How do we describe this, Eric, for our audio audience who should thank us that they can't see this?
Well, she's naked and she doesn't look that fucked up, I have to admit. But
no, imagine Nancy Pelosi dressed like that.
She has flowers. Well, I'm old, so I like old women. She has flowers over her boobs and her vagina too.
Yeah. Fake Kumia just turned off the show, by the way, as soon as you said that.
I think this is attractive. I think she's hot.
Reverend Shitstain, how would you describe this?
I would describe it as a deluded old woman who still isn't sagging quite, but she does have a sex tape if you want to see it, Zane.
Oh, yeah.
That's private.
What the Reverend is trying to say is, he would. That's what he's trying to say.
For June 2019, I took these pictures on May 27, 2019, because someone wants some photos for June, and I wanted to provide something recent. Those who pay $40 a month via my Patreon get to see me fully nude. I'm not on any special diet. I just follow the Gail commandments, and I love my pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, peanuts, and ground flax seeds that I eat with Cheerios and rice checks. I could be skinnier, but then I'd be too hungry. For 61, I'm happy.
Okay.
Jesus has no objections to me doing this. He says if I wanted girls to wear clothes, I would not have had them born naked. Jesus is such a kick. He doesn't mind seeing women in bikinis as long as they aren't using their body to seduce. I don't like the Pepe the Frog cover-ups anymore.
What?
I decided to go with a different theme that I think is closer to who I am. My apartment has a boring background, and I wanted to be a little creative for June.
Okay. Ape Shit Media says I don't want to see her pumpkin seeds. And Deanna Marie says $40 a month. Just JFK Head Chunk again, always winning the day. Imagine those seedy shits. Reverend, I know there's a little more. I'm going to defer to you. It's worth sticking with it, right?
Oh yeah, we might as well just clear it out. It's worth it. There's nothing. It's not much longer, and it'll save us some time for Ojeda and Kara next.
Well, and we'll tease that. I know we have to wrap it up in a moment, but
now opening a P.O. box when you're world empress, multiple Nobel Prize winner, multiple Academy Award winner, the wife of Brent Spiner, and the favorite of Jesus Christ. Well, it's really opening the floodgates to a lot of crazy out there. So my men and I decided we needed a list of rules. So here are the rules.
The Church of
Number
Gail.
1, no hate mail.
Dwyer
if you send
Christian
abusive mail, you will be doxxed and targeted by Zach Knight. Just to let you know, Zach Knight's signature troll move is to fuck people's moms. He's not kidding. He even fucked my mom once. So if you don't want him to show up to your house and fuck your mom, Then be polite in your fan mail. 2, no LARPing. I mean, come on, guys. It's one thing to simp. Simping's okay. In fact, I encourage simping, but it's really obvious when you're LARPing. You're not that good of a troll, okay? If you really try to write me a fake story saying you're somebody famous and that you need my help rescuing you from the Jesuits or stooping to a new super weapon you invented, I'm just going to have 3 words for you. Cool story, bro. 3, no white knight.
I do like the way that she did the mic drop there. Cool story, bro. Yeah, it seemed like she might have been handling some of the correspondences with Kate Meany for a moment there, talking about simping.
Knighting or concern trolling.
No white knighting.
This doesn't work, folks. I've been in love with Brent Spiner for over 30 years. You're not going to be the one super smart troll that's going to finally convince me that I'm crazy and that everything I believe is fake. To be honest, even if I was crazy, I would choose to stay crazy. I'm happy with my universe, and especially my men.
So, fake Anthony Cumia says this broad is Kevin Brennan's head writer. Troy Smith, the great Troy Smith, said, "Hi, kids. I'm late AF. I'll catch up later. FSJ, FKB. Thank you, Troy." And yes, Reverend, sorry. I wanted to attend to some business.
No. You're fine. I'm trying to tell my dog to not bark and
look
at the audio.
Yeah. And Dwyer Christian says her brain has 0 wrinkles. Thank you, Dwyer Christian.
Dearest Gail, we have an emergency of international concern, and Church of Gail has been called to address the situation. To my deep dismay as co-president of the United States, none of our mainstream news media is covering this breaking story. It is of dire importance that you have this information so that we can inform our citizens and take immediate, appropriate action to prevent a world disaster. Early this morning, Church of Gail received a distress signal from the Cum Noble nuclear semen plant in the Jesuit city of Nagabukaki, Japan. Nagabukaki is home to our friendly Zach Knight Jesuits and their families, and it houses a joint military base that works alongside Church of Gail.
So our buddy Liam McEnany does highlight something that I wanted to make sure that she has a pride flag, which she hadn't had prior to this, right?
So around 2021, she admits, well, she's not just interested in like Brent Spiner. She's also interested in deities, and deities aren't necessarily like male, female. So she's gay.
So
Liam, at one point she said she's asexual or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Liam says, I can't figure out who she hates. I think she hates everybody except for Lieutenant Commander Data. But
as you know, Jesuit technology is powered primarily by semen. This plant provides precious power to all of Nagabukaki. In the late hours during the overnight shift at the Cum Noble nuclear semen plant, the lead nuclear semen engineer, this is called a cum-gineer in Jesuit technology, was making his rounds throughout the building when he noticed that there appeared to be clear droplets of liquid accumulating on the rods. He was puzzled. This had never happened before. Condensation, he thought out loud. Curious, he wicked his finger along the rod and brought it to his tongue for a taste test. Nope, that's definitely pre-cum, he determined. Seconds later, the cum-gineer's eyes rolled back into his head and he passed out in a breathless heap.
Oh my word.
Oh my God.
Reverend Shitstain, you are our favorite cum-gineer. You have done the Lord's work. Easy. I want to get your thoughts, and I want to give you a chance to head out while I attend to some business. But we have now gone through that whole video is 15 minutes, right? And we split it up over 3 weeks.
I do believe. Was there one more section left? Was there the final section? I don't know. I thought I heard one more.
No, that was the. I thought that was the end. Yeah,
oh,
that was the end.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I made it. You think I'd know?
You think? Well, even you don't remember. But Eric, let me get your final thoughts. Your Jerry Springer final thoughts there.
As crazy as she is, I could understand why anybody would be able to watch it and laugh along at the seriousness at what she's describing is flawless. So I can absolutely see how she could have the type of following that she does. But do you think she actually has sex with people from time to time?
No, she has dildos and she has brain-to-brain communication. She made a video of it once. I wouldn't recommend looking it up. Okay. Where she brain-to-brain orgasms. When she orgasms, Buddha, Jesus, Brent Spiner, they all orgasm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah. All the deities, Buddha, Jesus, Brent Spiner. Greg Williams says, I bet her LinkedIn is amazing. And fake Anthony Cumia, Dear Penthouse, it was just another day at work. 712 Colgate wants to know if the Reverend is SLC Punk's son. Maybe you get
I don't know
that.
who that is. I'm sorry.
I believe it's
my bad.
Anyway, Eric, Zane, I'll tend to our sign off and all that. Let everybody know where they can find you.
No, I'm staying here. I want to see this all the way to the end. You can follow me wherever you download podcasts. Just search the Eric Zane Show podcast, and I'm there. That's it.
All right. Well, I'm glad that your plugs were short because I have the Blackcast, BLADTCAST. Tomorrow we'll be doing a live episode where I will I will review the latest Planet of the Apes movie. Tomorrow, as I said, I'll be on BYB with Quadfather, 8 p.m. Eastern. And tonight, you'll be able to find me on Once Over with Kaylee, a.k.a. Lucy Tightbox.
I love her.
Discussing Train Spotting. And don't forget to go to hackamania.com. Use promo code WATP for 20% off tickets. May 31st, June 1st, and 2nd in Las Vegas. Somebody in the chat was kind enough to remind you all to smash that like button and subscribe. Also, subscribe to the audio version because you never know when you're going to be out on the go and you want to bring Eric Zane and I inside your ear holes. Reverend, I know you don't usually like to promote the things.
I'll be here next week.
You're working on something big for us next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how long. We'll discuss it. Prior,
but we've been teasing it for a while. Who are we going to blow the lid off of?
Ojeda and Brian Karam, Stuttering John's little butt buddies that like to hang around and, be a bunch of blowhards with DNC talking points and assholery.
My buddy Liam McEnany made a point in his epic showdown with Stuttering John afterwards. He said John brags about how he doesn't pay anyone, any of his guests. How many hours of his time has the Army Major given to John? Now, I know you're not a fan of the Army Major, but he should at the very least be compensated for being on that idiot show. So
as an actual, if you just did it an hour a week, which is what he generally does, an hour, hour and a half a week, and that's 52 weeks in a year, save for maybe 1 or 2 weeks because of holidays, he's literally should get a full-time job's paycheck for what he's done for John, raking in all these super chats about Blinky and the lead pipe and whatever else, because my God, John ain't doing shit for himself.
And Liam did blow the whistle on the fact on Point Dabble Point that I may go up and get a lot of soda refills when I go to a movie. Coca-Cola Freestyle is a gift from above. I want to make sure we got all these super chats in. There were some late ones that I think we got all of them. And right now, so right now, this is our winner, Eric, unless I'm missing something.
No, that is it.
All right. So thank you again, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday. Please join us then. We will try to determine whether or not we can figure out who are these broadcasters. But until then, I'm Christian Bladt reminding you, every mic is a hot mic. And I, Christian Bladt, would have a much shorter life expectancy if I was treated by a black doctor because I'd rather shoot myself in the fucking head first. Thanks, fake Anthony Cumia. And to everybody, we'll see you.